We design and then do the handoff and then we're just out. It's never been about the pixels, right? The dribble shots, the fancy UIs and everything. It's never been about that. And remember, happy wife, happy life. That's always a number one. Hello and welcome. The name is Nikola, right? Most of you know me. I'll be talking about stories first, pixels later today. Just a fancy name for a presentation, you know. But as long as we kind of stick to the schedule, well, you know, I might even break it a little bit. You know, we'll see. To be honest, we've all kind of started somewhere, right? We've all been somewhere. We tried many various things. I've been the first one actually to just put everything I had into my portfolio. Literally anything, like any pixel or any button that I had to put it in there. But I just, you know, assume that's what we all do. When you start out, just what you do. All right, and now, pretty much, before we kind of begin, let me set some expectations. This actually talk that I'm going to do is not going to be about any masterclass in design. It's pretty much about stories. I'm going to share my own and kind of talk about where I've been, what I did, the experience that I did, and everything kind of involving that, assignments, the stories, the lessons, the clients that I had, and many various things. Hopefully along the way, most of you will kind of learn from my mistakes or not, or even take some takeaways for yourself as well. Yeah, I will be kind of splitting some stories into certain segments, and then each story will have some key takeaways, and then after that, we'll kind of talk about everything in global. Have in mind, all of these shots that I did were from my personal portfolio. Everything that I will display here is my work. And by the way, everything that I've written on here as well was before ChatGPT existed. I would like everyone to take that into account. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we kind of begin with the mountain metaphor. Just an easier way. As you can see, beautiful presentation. This was drawn by me as well. Beautiful. So what I did was kind of to just engage you guys in how it all began, and that there's more to be as well. We started at the base camp, kind of like, you know, Mount Everest. We started the climb. There's going to be a few things along the way. There's a false peak as well, where I thought that that's it. And then it turns out there's more. Right? There's a current chapter. There's going to be a lot of things. The summit kind of is the current chapter is where I am today. Still climbing, you know, but just a little bit more experience and confidence, etc. All right, so we begin with my first ever screen design. Holy shit! Look at that. So incredible, right? This was the literally first assignment that I had. And it's December 2018, we go back a little bit. Pretty much, I cold emailed a company at that time. We're not gonna name any names, right? And I just wanted an internship. So I was literally wanting a design internship. Hey guys, I'm ready to do my work. I want 2 months, please let me in. What happened kind of on the HR interview, they weren't as impressed by me. But later I found out that the HR person actually reached out to my professor at the time. She kind of got some feedback on me, thought, hey, this guy's okay. Even though I was a super average student, like I was 6 or 7s and I'm out. I don't even care about grades. So pretty much she put in a good word with me, even though I never had any contact with that professor at the time. So it was pretty interesting, sure. I did my assignment. The assignment was that we had to do kind of a medical insurance thing. I don't even remember now, but as you can see, it's pretty bad, right? Those were just the HR questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know, on a yacht and drinking champagne. Like, what is that question? I never believed in those. And so I finish actually the assignment. I go to the interview, the second one, and find myself between the CEO and the HR. So they start talking to me. Oh, you've done an assignment. We don't want you to do an internship. We want you actually to do the job straight away. I was like, okay. Sure, I was ready. I wanted that, but is that good decision? And then the CEO actually asked me, hey, do you know HTML and CSS? And I was like, I know what the div is, and I've heard of HTML, right? But at the end, it was he was pretty persuasive in the terms of saying to me, hey, there's just going to be a little bit of HTML and CSS. Chaos ensures. Everything goes to hell. Everything burns. I join, as you can see, and everything is falling apart. In the first month, I had to learn GitHub, MySQL, Coffee.js, Eclipse, all these crazy developer tools. And props to Teodora at the time. She was the front-end developer that was off-boarding, but onboarding me at the time. She had the patience to kind of give me the gist of it and learn these tools to me. And pretty much it was just all over the place. Like, why does UX designer have to do all these mumbo jumbo? I truncated bases and tables. Like, I bet 95% of you don't know what a truncated base is. So it's incredible. I start that. Funny enough, 2 weeks later, so that's March 2019, 2 weeks later, lockdown. Corona hit. We're pretty much in lockdown, middle of March, right?
It was 2020.
Oh, to 20? Yeah, whatever. Who cares about the dates? I'm missing a year, evidently. So 2020, March, lockdown hits, we're stuck home. I have no idea what to do, and I'm supposed to do HTML and CSS and design at the same time. It was pretty chaotic. I remember at the time, me and my girlfriend, now my wife, we sat down. It was like 11:30 p.m. She's a backend developer, by the way. So we sat down, and the two of us on a Zoom call tried for hours just to center a button. Literally just to center a single button on a single, it was nuts. After that, kind of the whole structure of the team changed. So the project manager was moved. I was left there with 3 developers and 1 QA tester. And it was, it was fine for a while. And so pretty much what I would like to touch upon in this case and in this project, why I say that, because at some point, I began being more than just a designer. At some point, I was kind of the product owner. I was listening to all the clients' bullshit. So for 2.5 hours, I used to navigate what the developers would do because every task would first come through me. I used to design and then code it as well. And especially because I designed it, I know how it behaved, then I helped the QA tester as well. So that's a 5-on-1, guys, for your first job. Holy shit. So it was nuts. It was all over the place. What we learned then, what when we say we, what I learned, is that this was a specific feature that we developed for 2-3 weeks. So it was kind of just email integrations into the platform. And it looks pretty bad. I'll give you that. However, the funny part is that I was sitting with my client for like 3 hours. So it's been 2.5 weeks. We were designing it, thinking of it, iterating. I was literally live designing and live coding at the same time. And what happened is the client just stood up, took all of his papers that he had sketches and notes about this feature and ripped it all in half, literally in front of me, and told me, hey, well, you know what? We're not going to do this. And I was shook. We spent 2.5 weeks on this. I sat down doing overtime as well, which I wasn't paid for. And then you say, we're not going to do this. What's the reason? The main reason is that he kind of suggested that it was past the deadline. So the client was a hedge fund manager. So literally a Wolf of Wall Street story, I kid you not. He was a workaholic, worked insane hours, has of course a mansion on Hawaii, which I've seen on the Zoom call many times. And he literally just stood up and said, hey, well, it's been 2.5 weeks. We passed the deadline. But I'm like, wait, there's a feature almost ready. Just connect the back end and the front end. Should be easy, no? No. Ripped the papers in half, went away, and we didn't actually talk for like 3 days after that. He didn't like call me at all. But it was pretty funny. This was actually the last feature we did for that project. And it was just kind of heartbreaking, but also interesting now that I look upon it, in terms of all of the key takeaways. What's my main point here? So what happened on this project and in this company? Pretty much the realization is that it's never been about the pixels, right? The dribble shots, the fancy UIs and everything. It's never been about that. It's never been about the perfect handoff as well. What I've noticed is that it's always been about being present and kind of being a therapist to my client. It's literally that. So we kind of had a nice relationship, but it was kind of a Stockholm syndrome relationship. It was here and there. So sure, blame me in terms of design, whatever, who cares? But in terms of relationships and emotions, I learned a lot. Pretty much involving emotions, there's work politics. Have in mind, politics is just how humans coordinate in groups. It's always there. It's just kind of like an invisible network. And it's all over the place. It's influence, it's a form of power. It exists everywhere. If you refuse to participate in such work politics, it just means that you're going to be left out. The thing is, if you refuse, it's what's called bad politics. So it doesn't mean necessarily that your company has bad politics, but you're not in it, which means it's bad, right? You have to be in it, coordinate with with the people you work around and the people you work with, and just try and make those work politics nice, right? Do the uncomfortable things. That's pretty much what kind of happened. I was 5-in-1 role. I never received any compensation, and I might sue someone for that, but we'll see. And then what I learned is it was amazing that even doing all those things kind of felt opening myself and seeking other goals in order for my personal ones as a designer to kind of succeed. That was the whole point. What I'm trying to say pretty much, it was the whole story of being more of a generalist rather than a specialist. It opened my eyes. That's pretty much it. Fourth one, emotions are actuator. This is pretty much the main reason that we're gonna what I'm about to talk today. There's many things here that we're gonna touch upon later as well. Emotions are really powerful. That's why stories have meanings if you make it have a meaning. And then at the end of the day, even with my client at the time, it was just about listening to them, hearing them, and kind of going with the flow. Even though I personally would never have that relationship of a work relationship with anyone. But you know what? You maybe take a bullet for this one. Depends. Moving on. That was kind of the first chapter-ish. We're going to have a few more stories. We're going to skip a few companies now because, you know, there have been a few companies that I worked for from Belgrade. Why do we skip those? There's no any big stories, big points that I want to make. And you know what? It's just Belgrade. You know, sure. It's just Belgrade. We're going to move on. July 2022, I joined Super Awesome, the infamous Super Awesome here in Novi Sad. Yeah. We're going to go through the assignment that I had in Super Awesome as well. We're going to go through some of the experience that I witnessed and that I've been a part of. And it's going to be interesting. Super Awesome was kind enough to give me an assignment that was ATM for kids. And here, even though I was kind of having an imposter syndrome, most of you can relate, it was more related to Let me try and make this assignment and be a specialist in it, right? So I go in and I try, right? Define the key challenges. There's a lot of text, have in mind, before ChatGPT. I go ham. I search Medium, I search everywhere, Google Images as well. I go nuts. I do everything, and I propose a solution, I sketch something out. I think to myself, yeah, well, you know, I went through the hassle. I want to work in this company. It's a design agency. Every designer kind of strives for a design agency because it's a design-oriented culture. Sure. But in the end, I was ready to get this job. And as I was finishing the task, I arrived at the super awesome office. We sat down, we talk about the task, we chit chat, we talk about various things. And it was first, you know, I was just mega nervous about the whole chat. Everyone was around, like working, and then you're in the middle on the couch. It was a bit, but yeah. Out of a sudden, the CEO actually just says, like, yeah, I know, hey, you've done a good job on the assignment, but like, why would kids need an ATM? Wow. I was shocked. Easy to say. He also mentioned, hey, nice work on the assignment though. It's pretty good, but why would kids need an ATM? Going back to the story of the first project, so the thing is, we as product designers, UX designers, whatever, we're supposed to be, we're empaths, kind of emotions, we're supposed to think about those. But at the end, you have to take into credit every perspective possible. And that's where there was the logic where you would more need to be a generalist rather than a specialist. As a product designers and designers in general, who cares about the title, you're supposed to go outside of the box. Right? There is a box, but you need to go outside it. And that's pretty much why he said that. He was like, sure, even if you handed over the whole assignment on one slide and said kids don't need ATM, I would have accepted that and you would have gotten the job. I was like, wow, sure. Hard to believe, really hard to believe, but he said those words. And so moving on from the assignment, we actually go into the huge learning experience that I've witnessed there in a super awesome. It was more than interesting. The main point I would like to point out is the design ego. This one's huge because I've been working at Super Awesome for like a year and a half. It was just crucial and really important to lose your design ego. What does that mean? You have to have your designs slammed and hit hard, like no criticism at the finest level. And guess who has the most opinions in a design cultured office? It's the designers. Of course, everyone has their opinions, and everyone has their own subjective point and everything. But that kind of proves my point that even design is pretty subjective. But we as kind of designers want to have certain standards and rules to follow, but then we kind of break those rules. And then we kind of, it just vibes and this looks nice to me. Does it look nice or does it work? So there's a balance in there as well. What we did, especially not only me, every one of us at Super Awesome, we had to defend ourselves. Defend the design. There was no victim card saying just I'm a designer, I know best. That was not the case ever. And also there was like involving the stories part. It's just a really, really nice thing that I would bold when I say this. The main part, like kind of what I learned, is that people would rather work with an okay designer that's fun and easy to work with rather than a douche who's an expert designer. Facts. I don't care what anybody here thinks. Facts. Facts. Because in my career, I'm talking only subject disclaimer as well. This is only my experience, and it's been like this for 6 years, and it's gotten me everywhere. Guys, don't be a douche. Have in mind, and girls, right? Have in mind, if you want to, think about your career in your company currently, in your organization, if you can't exactly notice and find the douche in your company, bad news, it might be you. Good news, you now know it. So you can kind of fix it. So have that in mind. It's true. It's true. We can talk about, I encourage everyone to stay later and kind of debate me on that. It's a lovely topic. Can't wait, but you're going to lose. So, yeah. And on that, I'm going to touch one of the projects that I worked on in Super Awesome. It was Illini. It was a long-term project. It was me, one more designer, and a few developers here and there. What happened there, and I wanted to show, was there's also, I don't know, it was funny to me and I wanted to mention it. This client was an ex-pilot, and he was all over the place in terms of engineering and specificity and kind of logics and just everything all over the place. It was the funny part is that we as designers, and we can argue about this as well later, that we just design Excel tables on steroids in like 89% of designs. We have to be honest, right? Yeah, Duolingo stuff, sure, whatever, but 99% it's just tables. And so, when talking about tables, we had this certain feature that was bill of materials, and I wanted to show like a before and after. This is just a screenshot from my portfolio, so ignore the text, it doesn't matter now. What matters is the Windows a modal or whatever it is, just kind of representing the bill of materials. And it's just a table, so the project was about, context. Project was about creating motherboards, but custom motherboards, so you can do whatever you want with them. And a certain motherboard has certain parts, and you need to order them all. So that was the project, that's literally it. They did crazy machines and crazy gadgets of some sorts. It was nuts. Because of the bill of materials, we created a new feature, a hierarchical build manager. I always had a problem pronouncing that word, but who cares? It's literally just a table again, big wow. And we had interesting takes on everything. We also talked about how it improved. We iterated a little bit, yada, 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 numbers. But the main point, what I'm trying to go to today, is that what I've learned here, especially with the clients, there was a head of marketing at the meeting, and there was the ex-pilot guy. We literally talked, and what I noticed that at some point, he was making fun of me. And I'm like, I'm an okay guy to take a joke, right? I'm an okay guy. But the thing is that what I learned there, it all ties together about stories and emotions, is that social skills are no longer a soft skill, it's pretty much a hard skill. Why I say that? Because connecting with your clients and stakeholders and everything just makes sense. Nobody wants a douchebag expert. Remember that? Just a minute ago? It's true. We talked about private lives, we talked about connection, chit-chatted about the weather for like 1,000 million times. Everyone likes to talk about the weather. It's the especially when the first snow hits or something like that. Everyone loves that. And even just a funnier story about that. I sat down a week ago with a friend of mine, and we used to work in Super Awesome together. Right? He was a designer, I was a designer. And when I joined, there were two of us that joined. I joined and Mia joined, right? Doesn't matter. It was the two of us. And now the third guy, we had a design retreat event, and we because the two of us were new, we had to do a 5-minute presentation about ourselves. Sure, why not? We sat down, there was 10 designers. Everyone was fancy design stuff, Mia comes out, she just opens her laptop, does a presentation, everything. She did a 5-minute presentation about her career and what she did in her life. And then I went second, and I opened my laptop, and I'm like, I have a brother, I play chess, and I used to be a hunter. What? What do you mean design stuff? I don't care. Let's do stories, right? And funny enough, why I'm mentioning Stefan in this point is it because just a week ago we had coffee and he told me, hey, remember that presentation you guys did? I remember you being awesome. So it's about being memorable rather than being like a super duper expert. If you're going to be the golden ticket and you're going to be an expert and a good guy, girl, whatever, good on you. But that's like a rare unicorn stuff. I don't believe in those. So yeah, pretty much the whole point, as mentioned, be memorable. Stories are important. Emotions are important. There's a few key takeaways here as well. Functionality beats aesthetics. This one's really interesting for me because I've never been a really good UI designer. I've always been just a functional guy, a technical guy, and it's gotten me to a nice point in life, I would say. So functionality beats aesthetics because we're taught as UX designers, there's a literally lawsofux.com. You literally, the first thing that pops up, design aesthetic usability effect or whatever. Psychology says that if something is beautiful, it should be functional. Well, yes, fine, but that's not true, is it? However, it is true that you need to learn those laws in order to break them. That's the whole point. So yeah. We'll touch base on the iteration leads to perfection. This one is interesting, but this, I would say this is kind of common knowledge. It's, right? I would suggest. All right, we're kind of closing in on the final chapter for tonight. The current timeline and what's currently happening in my life. In February 2024, I received a call. Hey man, do you want to like try and work for a Swiss company that does hotels? And I'm like, sure, I guess, you know, I don't mind. Let's try it out. And almost 2 years later, I'm still there. Yay for me. Why I say that is because my wife jokes around. We take vacation days when I'm in between companies. Since I've changed a few, I've never had a lot of days off. So we would go on vacations when I'm between a company or two, right? In the end, right, LIKEMAGIC is the company, Swiss company. We're doing hospitality stuff. We're doing a platform for back office, so for operational people, and we're doing the guest journey part as well, everything for guests. What I did there was, I'm going to mention here, again, the assignment. We're going to talk about design debt, collaboration between front-end and developers, and we're going to talk about a little bit of AI, just a little bit, because it's trendy. You know, who cares? Good old classic assignment. This was pretty standard. I actually like this. Yes, have in mind, some companies, I don't know by heart, but some companies give you an assignment that they're going to use later, which is really bad. I would like to name, if anyone knows any company, let's name them out. Let's shame them. If not, that's fine. This was okay, I guess. It was kind of a job position under the radar, so there wasn't any ad for it or any post for it. It was just mouth to mouth. Just a regular UX assignment. It was to do with guest profile, guest messages, and kind of guest overview as well. And so now that we look back upon the experience that I had before, now we go into this with a little bit more of confidence, right? And we go in. Research and context, right? No need to read. If you know, you know. Props. No need to read the rest. I go through the whole process of how I thought, what I did, the whole research. The good old double diamond. Everyone swears by that. Who cares? Whatever. Pain points. This is cool. SOP. Really cool. We're doing a new feature about that currently. Really cool stuff. I did that before even knowing. Nice. Just regular navigation, information architecture. I went on to do tasks as well because guests and tasks were kind of tied. And so after all of that, I then come to pixels. So there's been like 6 or 7 slides that I did just for story's sake. Then I show some pixels, right? We talk about this, we talked about many other things, and don't get me wrong, even though there's confidence now in the stories that I have, this is just untitled UI. I literally just changed a bunch of chips, added some names, just to put in my perspective what I needed for this assignment, and that's it. Guys, there's a lot of libraries out there. Don't do design on your own. Take some away. There's a reason we copy things, right? Guest overview, fine. The guest profile as well, right? Just feels okay. That's literally it. Messages also. And then from this point, I talked about this. I defended my design to the product owner at the time. We talked about this. He wanted to mention some technicalities. He was really fond of me being a developer back in the day. This was his major point in every interview we had together. And literally after this, I showed him the the end screen, and he was really happy about it. And just after a minute, he didn't say anything, just asked me, when can you start working? There it is. So fine, the pixels is whatever, but it's, I guess, about the story that kind of bought them, right? He asked me when. I said, hey man, I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to Mexico. I have my trip planned. I mean, you gotta either wait for me a month and a half, or like we can start now, but I have, 2 weeks time in Mexico. And remember, happy wife, happy life. That's always a number one. What I'm also about to talk about here, as mentioned, I would like to just quickly go through some points that I did now. My ex-colleague is actually making fun of me because I've never liked design systems. Welcome aboard. And then we did a before and after. This was the previous designer, what she had left me. Pretty nice. And then just a glimpse of what I did in terms of cleaning up. There was a lot of design debt. I'm still not done. So after almost 2 years, there's still more design. It's crazy. It is a complex application, to be honest. So anyway. Just again, a glimpse of what happened and how it's going. And here I would like really to point out a really huge thing. Collaborate with your front end guys. That is really important. I would like to mention, and I've read this mega cool article on themedium.com. Maybe there's a link. There's the hot potato process. There's been a saying that we wanted as designers to have a certain handoff. We design and then do the handoff, and then we're just out. I don't care. The developers is now. What actually meant to be true in all of my cases for these 6 years, it's actually been the hot potato process all along. You hand off the design, but then always the developer has a question. You either iterate or shut them down, and then back and forth, and then it's done. It's finally implemented. This is true. This is true. Learn how your front end guys, what they use from components. Is there a storybook? What technology do they use? Is it MUI? Is it React or stuff like that? Even learn front end. Learn the foundations of it. It is what it is. We got to that point where nowadays I don't even have to worry. There's certain stories in the whole Jira board that go on without me even touching design. Because it's a complex application, depending on the integrations that we do, there's certain input fields and certain selects depending on the country because of the law. And so now we set up a nice system and a nice front end and a nice design that now anything added or removed, we don't have to worry about its behavior. It's going to act out on its own. Try to strive for that. There's still more things that are just complex and can't be handled that way, but certain forms are kind of easy to be just automated in a sense. Yeah. Is everyone okay? Yeah? Very good. Yeah, I'm fine. I got in the gist of it. I can now be here for like 3 hours. I can, if you have spare time, we just, grab some refreshments, as Lazar mentioned, and we'll be good. Yeah, basically, as mentioned, we kind of see that I'm more of a technical guy. There's no flashy UIs, guys. I'm sorry if you wanted to see any flashy UIs, but it just won't be here today. I agree. The developer career part that I did, the HTML and CSS stuff, that really helped. You don't have to be a programmer, you don't have to be a developer, just try and learn the foundations of it. How it behaves, what they do, and what I've always encouraged is to see how the front-end guys view my designs. That's pretty crucial because I always see how they navigate Figma and they have no clue. They are literally just kids on a playground. I want this, and just all over the place. They have no clue. So try and initiate those talks. Try and connect with them. At the end of the day, you're gonna want your designs to be implemented a certain way, or like or fully, sure, pixel perfect. But you gotta make an effort. It's not only about collaboration. It's about cleaning the design debt. What I mentioned a few minutes ago. This is a screenshot just a week ago that we actually did, I did, for complete Figma Make, if anyone has heard. This is AI, and I fully prompted a fully finished feature. It's just MVP though, there's a lot of things that's missing here, but anyway, this is why design debt is crucial. Design systems are crucial. So just do them, clean them up. You'll have a good time later. Sure, Figma is kind of a dark pattern in terms of payment. It's expensive, fine. But get your company to do the full seat. Do Figma Make. It's amazing. And it's going to be even better. Game changer because today and yesterday, I've already been and tested with customer success team. And I've also tested with our growth manager as well. Growth of analytics and stuff. So it's pretty good. I already got the feedback. Go ahead. Yeah, so what I did, there's in the design system, there's literally, I think, a button that says export asset, and then there's a small modal below it that says export to Figma Make.
No, I mean from Figma Make.
Okay.
How to export the code from Figma?
How to export
Export the code from Figma Make. Okay, so this is like a prototype, right? So how do I take the code from there, from Figma Make?
I think you can push it to GitHub now, or they will announce that in a couple of days, yeah. I think. But similar to Lovable and Vault, you will be able to push to the GitHub, so
it's kind of doable.
Yeah, it is. Or it will be a few days.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely will be.
Yeah, I pretty much tested it with share and stuff like that. I haven't gotten to the GitHub stuff, but this was good enough for me. Testing wise, user testing and like internal stuff, sure. Yeah, for external you would have to do something like that, but Cool, thanks for the question. So we've been technical, we've done shit, we've done here and there, lots of various stuff. What about the marketing team and the sales team? I have also helped them. This was going all the way back to the key takeaways that we did for the first project and the first job that I did. Do the uncomfortable things. This was kind of not something that I wanted to do, but deeply just ended up loving it, is learning Framer. So heads up, yeah, sure, everyone loves it. Do you want to specifically use it or even for your own portfolio or something? Just do it. Framer is amazing. They haven't paid me a dime to say this. I would love them to, but I've helped out the sales team and it's really interesting because down there, the head of growth, Adrian, we talked, he mentioned that for every euro invested in the website, we now generate 11, which is pretty good, pretty good. Framer website, there's a link here, you can click it, but you can, just Google it, type it. I've done it all myself. 98% is me. Adrian just did the German translation and that's it. Everything else, it was me. And good to know, right? What also happens here is that because of the sales and because of the sales team uses the website as a pitch deck, they love to kind of go through the website, click around, and I've added some nice kind of effects just to go around with the presentation. And just a week ago, we had an announcement that we're kind of closing in on our final investor. So fingers crossed, there's going to be money. Hopefully a raise as well. Key takeaways. Everyone can pretty much get the gist of it. Design debt, collaborate with your front-end developers, and learn Framer. Pretty easy, right? All in all, this is currently where I'm at. Don't get me wrong though, there's been a lot of interviews and a lot of failed experiments as well. I just haven't mentioned them. And the thing is that I've been to some interviews that have been rejected, and that's fine. You kind of learn your way, get along the story. It's your story. We're all subjective at the end of the day. And at the start of my career, I was kind of applying to pretty much anything and everything. But then after some experience, you kind of just learn to balance life and your career. So I would encourage everyone to not go crazy about your career. If you're starting out, sure, but then later just take a chill pill. I do a bunch of other things as well. We're not only designers, guys. We're humans. We do shit. We do a bunch of shit, right? Here and there. Be fun to work with, but be fun outside work as well. And thank you for listening.